pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I mean, we have basically our normal agenda, rearranging. What I planned mostly to spend tonight on was planning for our next meeting, which we're, I think, planning on doing again, another community engagement evening. I don't know. We'll get into those details, I guess, of what we're thinking that might be. But also, aware that this evening we might have a little extra, I guess, public comments, and I think I know what you're going to want to talk about, but I have some other notes as well to go over. So anyway, we start usually with the public comments, so we don't make you wait around the whole meeting.
Okay,
so
perfect.
Any public?
Oh, I prefer this format. So my name is Patty Smith. I'm a resident of Conneton, across the street from 900 Conshohocken Road, which is where the data center is proposed to go in. And obviously there's been a lot of public comment about it at the zoning hearings, at the planning agency, but I just wanted to come to the board today just to raise awareness about what data centers can potentially bring, especially a data center like this, which is essentially a power plant. Just to advocate for the citizens of Conneton, so that, even if this does get approved, what regulations and ordinances can potentially be proposed or advocated for by this board or by council in order to make sure that the residents are protected. And so I think I wanted to focus specifically, there's other concerns, but I wanted to focus on the air emissions because I have the most data about that. I'm not sure if you guys are aware sort of like what kinds of things can come out of natural gas turbines, which would include like formaldehyde, benzene, toluene, and then that would potentially be dispersed on the citizens of Conneton, but also in the larger area. So the EPA lists natural gas turbines as major sources of hazardous air pollutants, of which, those 4 are, and there's many more. And even last year, there was a petition from, I believe, some natural gas lobbies to delist natural gas turbines as those major sources, and that was denied because there was inaccurate facts to support the delisting of that. So as of today, they are still considered major sources of hazardous air pollutants. And so there's an analogous this.
I was telling Andy that I used to work for a company that was a supplier of emission control equipment for gas turbines.
Okay, so
Yeah, it was a catalyst supplier.
Yes, so
We supplied catalyst, oxidation catalyst systems, and SCR systems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this is from Allegheny County, actually. So I have an air emission inventory summary report from Springdale Energy, LLC, which is it's an analogous power plant. So this is, I think he said initially that he wanted this to be an 800 megawatt facility, and now it's down to 450 megawatts. But this is an air emission inventory from Allegheny.
Can you describe what it is? It's 400 megawatts.
In the larger meeting, he was initially anticipating 800 megawatts, and then in a smaller community meeting, he said that it would be 450 megawatts.
And do you know what kind of turbines they are?
I asked if they were going to be. He said I asked if they were going to be small, medium, or large. He said that they were going to be medium, so 50 to 100 megawatt capacity, and then either GE, Siemens, or Mitsubishi turbines.
50 to 100 megawatt? Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's there's 2 types. There's frame turbines and aero turbines. The aero turbines are like jet engine, basically very similar. And the emission profile from the 2 are very different. Mm-hmm. The frame turbines are much lower emissions. Mm-hmm. So that's a question to ask them. Is this a frame turbine or an aero-derived turbine?
Okay. We definitely will if we have follow-up meetings. And then this is just an analogous air emissions inventory report from Allegheny County, from the Health Department, from Springdale Energy, LLC. And it just has a pollutant emission summary from a facility that has 4 units, 4 turbines. And they also do diesel fuel as well, but that's like the emergency backup. So this is something, I think this is like 550 megawatts. So it's a little bit larger, but he still was planning, I think, around 4 to 5 turbines as well. And that's just what we know so far. So to the extent that the board here can sort of advocate for the community, that would be much appreciated, because Conneton was already impacted by the Blue Route. We already live next to the Blue Route. If you live within, I think, 1,000 yards of a major highway, you have a 10% increased chance of lung cancer. Like that, we already have this going on at Conneton, and like this is a chance to kind of redress some of the wrongs that have happened in that area to the residents. So I can leave this if you would like to look. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was from 2024. Well, actually 2025, I believe. But that's publicly available on their Allegheny County Department of Health website.
So they haven't said they expect 4 turbines that are 50 to 100 megawatts each.
So they said initially that they wanted 7 turbines, and then he said that they were reducing it by 40%. He didn't give a specific count, but he said we're reducing it by 40% because he took into account community feedback. I'm sure that's what the primary, cause was. But so he's reduced it to 40%. So I'm going around like 4 turbines.
And did they say what makes you connect this to what they're doing?
He's doing a combined cycle natural gas turbines.
Combined cycle?
Yeah. And that's a combined cycle natural gas turbine. I don't have the delineation between the two that you said, the frame or the other one that's like the aero-derived. I don't think that he does either at this point, because there was no specification about that. We can follow up when we next ask. But this is just an emissions profile from what I ascertained to be an analogous plant.
Okay.
Because I think at this point, everybody's saying it's a data center, but it is a power plant.
And did they say what the emission control is?
No.
What equipment they're using?
No.
No. That's.
So I don't know if it's lean premix or SCR.
Yeah.
SCI,
Is there oxidation catalyst? Or
Not sure.
Is there SCR?
Not sure.
system?
He has not disclosed any of that.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely insist that they did SCR at least. I mean, if they're going to do it. And I'll look at this. I'll give you some comments if I can.
Sorry for
Anyone
if you already mentioned this, but did you talk about the water usage? Is that a concern, or?
I can tell you what he said the water usage is. I don't have enough, data and background on the water, but so he has said that the water is going to be, for the 2.2 million square foot facility, the water is going to be a closed loop cooling system. And I've heard some questions about that from other engineers that I've talked to. Like, I don't know if you can necessarily get away with an entirely closed loop system. But he has said that there's a permit that is transferable to draw from the Schuylkill at that site, but that they are not intending to draw from the Schuylkill for the closed loop system just because of treating the water or whatever. But that he said he was going to either truck in the water needed for that closed loop system, or they were going to draw from the deep water wells that are on the site.
And closed loop just means there's nothing leaving or coming into.
In theory, it keeps circulating around through cooling towers, but you'll have losses. So they'll have to continue to do replenishment. And they'll probably flush the system as well I don't know what maintenance cycle would be, but every couple of years or so, complete flush.
Do you know what a combined cycle turbine setup is?
I don't know what the setup per se is.
So they have a gas turbine that burns gas, and the hot gas turns the turbine, generates electricity, and the gas that comes out of it is very hot. And they send that into this thing called a heat recovery steam generator that generates steam. And then they have another steam turbine that generates electricity from that steam. So they kind of get it twice. It's very efficient. But you do probably need a lot of water for the steam.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess
could that be closed loop also? Or no?
Yeah, that's probably what most of so that would be the cooling water, as most of it would be in the steam generator.
Well, we were talking, Matt and I were talking today with the SEM team about the deliverable for the other stuff, and this came up, and he mentioned that there are opportunities, I don't know the system that you're talking about, if that qualifies, but, you know, he said you could take the heat off of those gas turbines and, you know, heat an apartment building or something like that. He was asking, is there any opportunity to use that heat to, I mean, you know, we're not gonna pipe it down to the 12-story apartment building that's down the street, or they're not going to, but is that system that you're talking about, does that still have the opportunity to use the heat, or
It's
no?
not combined heat and power, that's just.
Yeah, and I don't know, like after you went through the steam generator, if
So
there'd be much useful heat left,
He didn't
so.
mention the steam generator, he just mentioned that the heat that comes off of those gas turbines can be, there's been other projects where they've used that heat
Yeah,
to heat,
yeah.
you know, schools or apartment buildings or something.
Yeah, there's two kinds, a simple cycle, and then you just run the hot gas through the turbine and exhaust it.
So, yeah, that's
And
probably the one he was
that's like just hot, then you're just getting rid of all that hot gas. Or a combined cycle, where you take that hot gas and generate steam and then have another turbine.
But they're using that to also power their facility, they're not taking that.
Yeah, they're running a turbine on it, so when it comes out of there, it's probably not much left in it.
For heating, residential, not for like industrial use, but residential type heat, building heat, that's pretty low temperature anyway. I mean, also think about the heat coming from the equipment in the building as well.
Yeah.
They generate a lot of heat. So
I've never heard of anyone doing that, but it's,
Yeah, he mentioned it in that meeting that we had today, that there's been other data centers that have done that. You know.
I'm sorry to come in late, but I take it you guys are discussing this proposed data center. I mean, it seems like the biggest issues are impact to Plymouth's water, impact to the river, and then the air to people in that area. And I mean, to me, it seems like there were a lot of unanswered questions with this proposal, and it seems to me that the township ought to demand those answers before being pushed up against a wall, having to approve this or not approve this. I don't think they can be expected to do so in the absence of the information needed.
so where is the proposal? Do we have the proposal?
The township does, right?
I don't think we would
has it?
propose, I think they're asking for.
Right now, they're just asking for an I don't know if they're asking for an exception in zoning, or they're asking to clarify that
There's
a
no,
data center counts as heavy industrial. They're asking for an
Yeah.
interpretation.
there's
They're
no
asking
data
me-
centers.
So right now, it's before the zoning hearing board, and essentially if the zoning hearing, from my understanding, if the zoning hearing board says, yes, a data center counts as this description of heavy industrial,
Yeah.
then it's
Well,
owned, it's, whatever that term is for when,
By right?
like, yeah, it's by right or whatever, because they own the property, it's said that falls under that zoning category. So you can do what you want, same thing like why you need an exception to do D residential if it's zoned A residential.
Well,
you can do any A residential you
I
want.
would say it's a false question, because without those
What is a
answers,
data center?
without those answers, the zoning hearing board cannot make that decision
Yeah, I don't
and
think it
should not make that decision in the absence of that information. It would be unethical to do so, in my mind.
So they have to define what they mean by a data center. And is that not been done?
Well, I would also caution with that, like, so West Conshohocken is taking that approach. So West Conshohocken Borough is taking the approach of bringing on a data center expert
Yeah.
to draft that ordinance and to draft that definition. But, I mean, the data center expert that they're bringing on is somebody who's built data centers before. And there's nobody who's like talking about public health effects or environmental effects. Like, it's not like a person team talking about the different aspects of data centers. It's just somebody who's built data centers before. So again, to
So
the,
they're going to draw up the specification for this data center?
for the ordinance.
For the ordinance?
So they're making the definition. The definition that we're lacking here in Plymouth.
Yeah.
West Conchy's taking a different approach as opposed to it's the same developer who's asking for another data center across the river in West Conchy.
Okay, there's two.
It's the same.
Where's that one?
It's near GSK's. Near GSK's facility, like near the old landfill.
Do you think they want two, or they're trying to see which one?
I am not.
Not sure. I don't know what you heard from other meetings, but
That one is a little bit, so we're only connected with the community people over there who have been like talking about it, but so to their knowledge, it's a smaller facility, so it's 400,000 square feet as compared to this, which is 2.2. And then they're talking about doing all diesel over there because there's no natural gas pipeline connection like underneath that site. So it would be all diesel over across the river.
Funny thing is, the Pico natural gas place is right there. It's right, I'm just saying, it's right on River.
Yeah.
Like, you would think that would be even more,
Yeah.
valuable because it's, but yeah, okay.
But so like it's kind of like the tale of two data centers here, right? Like one on that side, they're going like West Conshohocken was like, no, we need the ordinance, we need the definition, and then here it's straight to the special exception to see if they can not necessarily create a new definition, but go in underneath the public use general exception underneath the ordinance for heavy industrial.
If theirs is diesel powered, then their description of their site is not going to be applicable at all to a gas powered site. It's totally different.
I think the question though is
'Cause it
the
won't be a turbine, probably. It'll probably be an engine. And it's just totally different emissions. It's a totally different piece of equipment.
yeah. I don't think that from like an ordinance perspective, I don't know if that's a known distinction. Like I think that's a level of expertise that needs to be brought to those people who are drafting the ordinance, because I don't know, like that's not, to me, that's not common knowledge, and the people who are drafting the ordinance and responsible for the code don't have that information.
It seems like it's only fair to say, well, what do you want to put here? Tell us what it is, and then we'll decide if the zoning for it.
Well, I would also
Is
push.
that not how it works? Or
I don't know if that gets in the spot. I don't know. I don't know if you could do it that way, but
especially when it's this
what I would
huge.
say is, like, a guy like you that knows about that stuff, maybe you might want to go to the meeting and ask some questions.
I could go to the November 17th meeting. Yeah, I can go to that.
Yeah, I was planning on trying to go too. I don't know nearly as much, but
Do you expect that meeting to be just packed with people and
I would bet.
yelling at them and stuff?
He claimed that, he said verbally, and again, I don't know whether this was hyperbole or not, but he said that he was going to have 3,000 union members show up so that they could take the seats beforehand and then advocate for him. So I don't know if that's true.
Who's that?
Is it here?
The developer, yes, here.
3,000.
We only have two.
I know. That's why I was like, I don't know if this is hyperbole or not, but like this is what he said. So
It's trying to intimidate you?
I don't know.
Well, there are model ordinances for data centers. Penn Futures has one, and it looks like York County Planning Commission has developed one. So Plymouth ought to look at those.
My other, just point too is that, the site specifically, like this was not in the Plymouth strategic plan, like in Vision 2040. Like there was never a vision to keep this as a heavy industrial area, especially because it's next to, it is next to what is classified as high density, like residential. So
Do you have any information on the noise pollution?
So the noise pollution, just from I'm not an engineer, but from my uneducated, background on that, we already get the Blue Root noise. We're going to have the drone of the generators, or the turbines. When we spoke to him about that, he said that no, you shouldn't hear it. He said that he's going to put soundproof barriers around the turbines.
They need to be specific, okay, at the property line, it's going to be X decibels.
Yeah, that's what I would
something
ask. How many decibels are you going to?
Yeah.
Well,
At the property line.
He said that the property line limit, the fence line limit is 65, or is it 65? I think it is 65, and he's like, well, we're not going to go over that.
Yeah, there needs to be a rule set.
From
In
what
the
I've
per-
read about data centers, noise pollution not coming from turbines, coming from the electronic equipment is a major issue. There's very high-pitched noise coming from all these servers and everything. I've been in a server room, in a very small server room, with just like 6 racks. I mean, it's loud in there. It's very loud, and a lot of heat, by the way, also too. So I can't imagine what a whole data center.
Yeah.
And the hotter they get, the louder they get.
Well, and then on those hot days, which are the peak days, peak demand days, like that's when they're imagining the emergency generators will be used, the diesel generators that they're bringing on site, so that they can kind of decouple completely from the grid and not stress Pico on those high peak days. So on the hottest days of the year, then
So they're gonna have some massive generators there.
400 megawatts, that's big.
One of the community centers, 500 kW, and it's as big as this room.
Is it a engine or a turbine?
It's a engine, it's a
Diesel engine.
diesel, yeah.
Yeah.
So, correct me, Paul, so 450, I forget what I did here, but let's say 80% capacity, I don't know what they would normally be. So that's 131,000 megawatts. The DVRPC 2015 survey of the area said the total township industrial is 293. So this alone would be, I'd do that math, not quite 50% of the total 2015 capacity for the whole township. So this is a huge jump in the electric
For
consumption.
like total megawatt hours.
Yeah, just
Okay.
within the township. It's
So
very
do they
large.
run the whole thing with these generators? Or you said they're mostly, these are for backup, or are they for the?
that
Sometimes they'll run generators like during peak times to take away the electric bill. They'll rely on their, like, I know some buildings will do that. They won't use the Pico power. They'll switch the generator to save. There's like ratchet features, and there's a bunch of stuff with Pico. Like once you get, like we used to do at the community center, once we would approach our peak, like say it was 500, we would start shedding, the temperature, the BAS system would raise the temperature a couple degrees, so then that unit wouldn't have to work. Just so we wouldn't go, because once you go past that number, you're billed on that number for the rest of the year.
Yeah, like,
Here.
they don't have an estimation of like the number of hours per unit per year yet.
that's another thing that would have to be specified in the permit. Because there's a strict definition too of backup power and prime power. And there's peak shaving is what that description was. So, that would have to be in the permit. And depending if it's backup power, the emission regulations are much less stringent. Because they figure, we're only operating this 20 hours a year. Or,
And you have to exercise probably.
yeah, just to keep it, just to check it. They flip it on for a few minutes.
Hey, Rick, who's the solicitor for the township here?
Mike Clark. Mike Clark, it's,
Okay,
I don't know the law firm, it's Clark, since it's a, few names.
Has he been involved?
Yeah, Clark Rudolph, Glazeman, or Glaxman, or,
Has he been involved? Because it seems like in the absence of a definition and in the absence of information as to what this use is, how can the zoning hearing board even be expected to make a determination in this void of information? It seems like a legal issue at this point to me.
I think there is a solicitor for the zoning hearing board. I don't know if it's the same solicitor. I think
zoning hearing board
solicitor.
is totally separate from council.
Even to allow it to come before them seems to be a legal issue.
I think the question is that like what they're seeking is not like they're not seeking an exception, they're seeking a clarification. I think that's the wording, and don't quote me on that. Is one of the things that creates some further muddiness to the issue. Because they're not saying like we can't do this here, but we want you to let us. They're saying data centers classify as heavy industrial, so we should just be allowed to do it.
But they're just sort of saying that in the absence of any formal definition.
Well, they are saying that they are akin to a warehouse or a laboratory.
But they're just sort of making that up themselves without being able to point to any examples or any legal cases or there's no foundation to it. To me, it seems.
Yeah, I don't know what justification they have for that statement. They given any? Or?
No, I mean, they're trying to map the definitions that are given already in the ordinance to the data center. And so the definition is warehouse or laboratory. And they say, hey, we're like a warehouse because we're just storing things. And then they're also like a laboratory because they do research and design because they're processing data. When in my mind, this is really a power plant.
Yeah.
But then I think there's other, I just, across the state too, there's there's House Bill, I think it's 502, to create regional reciting boards, which essentially takes local hearing board power away for energy infrastructure projects and directs it to an appointed board. So I think the PA as a whole is moving towards trying to accept data centers and put them everywhere. But I think residents like Conneton are saying, well, hey, wait, what do these put into our air? Because when I told him, I was like, I thought the natural gas turbines, as a result of incomplete combustion, you get formaldehyde. And he said, no, that's misinformation. But I'm looking at a permit for natural gas turbines that says formaldehyde.
Yeah, and the catalyst would have a specification that it has to reduce formaldehyde by a certain amount.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not an expert, but I really don't want to have a discussion about what is the appropriate level of formaldehyde that the Conneton residents get subjected to. That seems like a pretty awful conversation to have.
I mean, I would think that there'd be established permits for that. Once you find out what it is, then there'd be permits. You could look over here and see.
Sort of like the trash esteem plant, they monitor the
exactly.
smokestack and they know exactly, it would be something like that.
It's going to be permitted exactly the same way by the state, by the DEP.
I mean, the zoning and hearing board members, I don't even know who they are, but I don't think they're going to have the expertise to make a determination.
Yeah, that's why Conchi is they're hiring a consultant or something.
They have a solicitor, and I don't know how far along, I don't know where this is in the process, but I would say the more people that show up and the more people that ask those questions, I gotta believe that they would hit the pause, I would think.
Why did they postpone the meeting by a month?
Maybe to get more information, I don't know.
I don't know, but I do
Nobody
know that
knows.
it was developer driven.
Oh, was it? Okay. Interesting.
He's the same developer that developed that whole riverfront down there.
On the FEMA floodplain.
Oh, all those apartment buildings? Or
All the
okay.
apartment buildings, yep, he's
Should be illegal to
a
build
big
that.
fellow.
So stupid.
In the floodplain.
Yeah, right next to the, and then we're surprised when it floods.
Yeah, it's unethical.
He doesn't care about it flooding now, he's done, he got all his money.
Yeah.
Probably should watch what I say, we're going to
You forgot to mute. All right, well, so what, I don't know, do you have any specific asks that we can support? I mean, I think Paul sounds like a great resource.
No, seriously, if you, just to the extent the maximum amount of advocacy that the EAB can provide for the residents of Conneton, where possible, if you can show up at the meeting and ask questions that, make sense, or even afterwards, if they get this exception, what support and expertise can you provide to the township if they decide to, and I hope they would, put their own restrictions and ordinances in place and regulations on the emissions? Because again, Conneton is going to be most proximately affected by all of this, once again.
And so, again, I'll ask, have they written down what they want to do?
Who wants to do?
What is the facility? Is it written down anywhere?
There is.
Like a proposal? We're going to.
If you on the website, they have their initial one, but they have changed it. There was a structured layout of where they were going to put everything, but that has changed at this point in time. So there were initially natural gas turbines closer to Conneton, and then he took community feedback, and then he moved it closer to the proving grounds. So now the turbines are down towards the proving ground side, and he also said that there's smokestacks associated with them as well. There was a comment the smokestacks are going to interrupt the skyline of the roof. So he said that he was going to lower the smokestacks to be below the roof of the building.
don't think you can do that.
Not, well, yeah, I mean, they have to be at a certain height to disperse the exhaust.
He said they're gonna be 64 feet.
64 feet high?
Are they keeping
pretty
the
high.
existing building, or are they knocking that building down? And
They're gonna keep the existing building, and that's why the union people are so interested in it, because they're gonna put a second floor in it. So it's gonna take construction, it's gonna create union jobs to create that second floor. And then that way they can have 2 floors of servers.
Go on the internet and look at what a combined cycle gas turbine power plant looks like.
Yeah,
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's huge.
it's huge.
Yeah.
That's why, to me,
It's
yeah.
mostly the steam generator.
That's why, like, I wanted to come here
Yeah.
tonight and talk to you guys, because one, just get the word out, but also just see like what advocacy you can provide, because to me, this is not a warehouse, this is not a laboratory, this is a power plant.
I'm thinking,
And should there be a power plant like 1,000 yards away from a high density residential neighborhood?
well, I mean, it wouldn't be the first one, but
It, just because it happened before doesn't mean
Yeah.
it should happen again.
yeah. It would be pretty hard to argue that, oh yeah, you can't do that, because you can find examples all over the place with it.
But, I mean.
But you could
yeah.
you could argue it should have this emission control and this noise control, and it should use this water, and you'd be best to argue and put all the constraints on it, like
I think that's the problem though, because those constraints would have to come from town council.
well the DEP will as well.
Well, the DEP will, but also underneath PA's Green Amendment, you can, like, local townships can create even more restricted,
More stringent, yeah.
more stringent regulations, more stringent ordinances. So
Okay.
that's if this does go through, how do we protect the residents of Conneton? Like, that's my primary concern, but also of Plymouth as a whole.
Yeah.
And like that, I think where the EAB can provide advocacy to try and move the ordinances forward, because town council is going to have to be the one that takes that on and actually advocates for everyone to even begin that process.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't want to take up your entire meeting, but
Thank you.
Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, I think there'll be a bunch of us will plan on going to the 17th. We'll have to talk about what specific, hopefully we get a chance to talk.
Yeah. Will there be more information available by then, do you think, from the?
developer, I don't think so. I think that it wouldn't behoove him to release any more information.
Well, but, I mean, they have to present something to the zoning hearing board.
We'll probably have to update the agenda probably like 3 days before.
But don't they have to, isn't there some proposal that
I
they're
don't
considering?
I don't think they're at that point yet. I think they want to have a definition of can this be in that building.
But aren't they providing that something before them?
I don't think so. I don't
I
know.
would guarantee you they have a drawing, and
I mean, usually like a developer's gonna have, like, they just did a development on Plymouth, or
Yeah.
Plymouth Road. He showed what he wanted to do, and,
yeah.
but
I don't know what degree to which they have to have one because of what, like, they're not.
Well, I don't mean the land
Seeking-
development plans, but I mean,
It'll give me some of the phrasing that would help
Yeah.
clear up a little
not
bit.
the land development plans, but the proposal for the use. They must describe the use.
It's all,
said they
if you
have.
if you go to the most recent planning agency's agenda on the website, you will see that you don't trust the pictures, because the pictures have changed, just the layout of everything, but their legal argument should be specified there as to why they're a laboratory or a warehouse.
And I think they're looking for special exception because there's no definitions. So it does sound like there is some concept of a plan of what they have, and I'm guessing until it's the last minute for him to turn it over to the zoning hearing, whatever will likely be as minimal as possible to get him through. Because essentially, like, what is limited, because you're only asking for the zoning, the level of detail that needs to be involved with the plan isn't part of this step. That would come, I think, in like subdivision and land development, I believe. So that's where it would need to be more detailed. Like during the Sal Payon presentation, as another example, some of the plans he was giving us did not have to be in full detail because it was just a zoning map amendment that we were hearing about. It was whether we should change the zoning from, I think it was office laboratory to, I think it's D residential now. So this is in a sort of similar vein. They're only asking if a project like this would fall under, they could have an exception to that zoning, then they can put together a more detailed plan of what it is for land development.
Right, yeah.
So the question here isn't necessarily the specifics of
No, I
the
understand.
data center, it's just, can we put the data center there?
Where on the site?
Oh, where did you say it was? Under the township
If
website?
you go to the planning agency underneath citizen boards,
Yeah, that happens.
Do you live in Cunnytown?
yeah, I live on Fulton Street.
Okay.
You know Edie Kenderdine? You know Edie
Who?
Kenderdine, Edie Kenderdine?
Wait, I do know who Edie is.
She's a long time.
Well, Bill is there too. Do you know Bill?
Not by his first name, maybe. I don't
Bill
know.
Mascio?
Oh, yeah.
Mascio? Yeah. I think he was in the hospital for a little bit, but he's coming back.
Gotcha.
So are a lot of people concerned in the neighborhood there?
Yeah, I would say. There's a park. A lot of people are.
aware. People are aware and they're engaged.
Yes.
And
We're trying to get as many people as possible to show up at the meeting. And so if you go under government
Right.
and then citizen boards, yep, and then go down.
Can't, right? I don't know how to resize the screen here. It's messing up on a different, maybe I can, just tell me, I'll bring it up on here. The citizen board.
Citizen boards, and then you should be able to go down. It was the October 2nd meeting, so there should be minutes. Yeah. Let's see, let's go here. And then go down here. It goes to the same, it's the website. You just have to like, and then down here, and then here. So that will be the memo that they have submitted.
Could we get like links to that and then also their prior proposal? I just wouldn't even know where to find the you said somewhere.
I'll send a link to what she just brought up for me here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these minutes, but then you said there was another proposal on their company website?
No, so there is another proposal that has not been released to the public. So after this meeting, he hosted like an informal community meeting that was open to the public so that they could see that he was taking, our concerns into consideration. That's where he told us the 3,000 union members were going to show up and take our seats. And then, so he showed us, a preliminary draft of changes that have been made. So what is on here, or what you're going to see, the actual pictures, like I wouldn't really look at them because they've changed. But the legal argument remains the same.
Where was that community meeting at?
Oh, the community meeting was at the Proving Grounds. So it was I didn't even know that they had like conference rooms in there, but they do. So it was in a conference room at the Proving Grounds.
Yeah, I just sent you guys just a link directly to the October planning agency minutes, and then to the overall folder. So I don't know if there's anything else in there we could.
He also said that he found out that he could, you might know this, right? But he said that he could run his combined cycle turbines on an N+2. And I don't know what that is.
That might mean that he has 2 gas turbines that are burning gas and generating electricity, and he combines the exhaust into one steam generator.
Okay.
And then has 1 steam turbine.
Okay. Maybe. He was saying that like that they were able to reduce the number of turbines because they were able to go N+2. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, so if
Okay.
he's got 400 megawatts, and each unit will be 200 megawatts, it's like 2 gas turbines and 1 steam turbine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think that might be what he means.
Okay.
I've not really necessarily heard that specific
Mm-hmm.
terminology, but that's what most people do, actually.
Okay.
All right, let's, I guess, move on then.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So basically, we're going to look at the proposal and go to the meeting, or if we have any
Yeah, well,
other comments before we
Let's
can
discuss, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll try to figure out specific
Yeah.
feedback
Yeah.
that we can give.
Thank you guys so
What was
much.
your name?
Patty.
Patty.
If you need my email, Nick has definitely had it at some
Yes.
point.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for coming forward.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're starting tonight on a regular agenda with the open space.
Yeah, the tree giveaway was at the end of last month, and that went really, really well. So I wanted to thank everyone who helped out, which was, I think, pretty much everyone. Yeah, thank you, Rick, for all of the support getting the stuff set up the day of, and
Thank you guys.
yeah, everything went really, I think, pretty smoothly.
People were so thrilled and excited. It was just really, and I'm seeing more in my neighborhood just walking around like, oh, they got one. Oh, they got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we got a lot of really good feedback, and I think council emailed you, Rick, saying that they heard a lot of good stuff too. So it's good. Yeah.
Have you received any pictures or anyone responding to that?
Yeah. So I think we got maybe 15 or 20, probably 15 pictures, even though everyone signed a pledge that they would submit a picture. But
They still
yeah.
have time on that though, right?
Yeah,
By
November
November
1st. Yeah, I'm still getting
We got
a
time.
picture or two every. But yeah, and the pictures, they seem like they're planting properly. Everyone has the fence around it and stuff, so it looks like they're following the directions. We have 2 trees left over from folks that signed up but never picked it up. And I contacted them multiple times, and they said, yeah, I'll get it. And they never came. So I have 2 leftover trees. I guess we can, if you have a spot at a park, or let us know. We can.
I guess they're like the larger trees.
Yeah, one is one's a river birch, which is a medium size, and then one's a white oak, so big, slow growing big one. Did you see the one we did as the demo?
Yes.
That's a white oak, so we could put another one there, or if you have a different park or whatever, we could plant the extra.
Okay. Yeah, we could talk about.
Okay. And anything else? Is
So the composting event, one
Oh yeah.
canceled?
No, that was held, and we had about 6 or 7 people sign up and pay. So we had it at Harry Wetherill in the classroom, and Colleen Fulicki with Back to Earth Compost Crew came out and did a good hour-and-a-half presentation. And because it was a smaller group, everyone got to ask pretty much all the questions they had. Some folks had been composting for a little while, but weren't doing it properly or mixing the right ratios and stuff. So they got all their questions answered, and everyone seemed to have a good time, and informative, and they brought home a lot of handout materials from Colleen. And she said she'd be interested in doing it again if we want to try it again and try and get more people to come out. But that was good, yeah. I was worried there wouldn't be many, but I mean, I guess it's not a lot, but it's a good group. I'm looking for pictures here, but I can't find them.
My wife she volunteers at Friends of the Wissahickon, and she signed up and listened to your thing
Oh, cool.
on the computer. I listened to it too.
Yeah.
It's good. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
You're very knowledgeable about all those trees.
Thank you.
Answered. There's a lot of questions, like 45 minutes of questions.
Yeah.
You had good answers for all of them.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought that went well. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. So the giveaway's done, the compost is done, and I know we talked about earlier this year leaving the leaves or trying to put some educational info about that. So maybe that's the next thing I can work on, or we can work on here. But yeah, I think that's it for now. I think a lot of folks are really interested in another giveaway next year, so we can try again maybe next fall.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, people were asking, are you gonna do it again next year? So maybe it was 50, right, this year? Maybe it goes up a tiny bit, like 75 or something.
Yeah.
It sounds like White Marsh things have gotten a little crazy there.
Yeah, they do
because
250.
Down to 250, and then they had a situation where, did I tell you this? Charlie told me a bunch of their trees were stolen, and they found out who stole them, but then they were too afraid to track them down. Like someone took, a dozen right from behind the police station there.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They were too afraid to try and find out who's.
They just didn't want to deal. I guess the people are so difficult who stole them.
Oh.
They just didn't even want to deal with trying to get the trees back.
But there was one person who stole all of them?
About a dozen or something, yeah.
One person stole 12.
They were lined up at their home.
Oh, at the corner of
I don't know.
Plymouth and there's this one house at the corner of Plymouth and anyway, they've had it's happened before. They never plant them. They just leave them on the side of the driveway and the trees die.
So I would caution against getting too big of numbers, because it's just crazy, and then you end up with, I mean, it was hard enough as it was to track down some of these people,
And you said you had 2 trees left over, but you had a few people on like a wait list, didn't you?
No, I guess I was able to keep it so that as soon as a species filled up with a request, we only had 5 red buds or something, as soon as that 5th red bud was reserved, I would take it off of the list, and I didn't make a wait list. But we did have a couple people show up to the event and ask for extra trees.
So you gave a couple, I think.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 trees that either weren't reserved or were reserved and then canceled. The person was like, I'm not going to be in town, you can just give it away.
And then a couple of people just lost track of time. It happened to be my 2 neighbors, both named Diane. So then I hand delivered their trees. So it's a lot to manage if you get out of control numbers, and then you end up with things like White Marsh experienced.
I remember years and years ago, we did a bare root tree giveaway. We ended up planting about 30 trees in the parks because we kind of overestimated how many trees we were going to give away. So I think if you keep it where, 50, 75 or whatever, I think that's probably better.
Yeah, I'll take that river birch.
Okay, sure.
I didn't get one, but I would take
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, it's a nice one.
Okay.
All right.
I think we're good, yeah.
So on the energy manager coordination, so we did, I think you should have seen the emails on the clean energy transition plan. It's renamed the clean energy from the energy transition plan, but anyway, that was part of the revisions. We did share that with council back on September 25th, but prior to trying to go to the October 6th council workshop, we're kind of told, stand down, we'd like to hear about that early next year. So it was a little, I think, much for them to take on, and they were busy, I think, hearing about data center and then getting into budgeting things. So on a little bit of a stand down, and had charts pretty much ready to go to the workshop, and had the document put out there, but weren't able to make it to the workshop. And then, so Matt was asking from the SEM to produce kind of a final report, final recommendations. You know, he's hearing, I guess, all different information, kind of just wants them to say, you know, here's our final thoughts on the rooftop solar, on EVs, and the ESC, the charging equipment. So they had a meeting today. I don't know, did you sit down there? Yeah, so guess they'll be producing their kind of final write-up report for the year for that. And do you have any comments since you went?
No, I mean, basically, it's exactly what you have summarized there. It's, you know, a recommendation on all the stuff we talked about, solar, EV charging, and the clean energy transition plan.
So, I don't know, just so the board understands where they are. I mean, we're really trying to make the case for kind of a zero, you know, we're hearing from Matt and from council that there's really no capital funds to invest this year. Unfortunately, you know, next year the federal incentives go away, so we're estimating that at about $270,000 of incentives that would be lost. So continue to try to say, well, here's some, you know, PPA or just financing options that would be available, but I guess there's just not interest in pulling any triggers right now. Council out of Matt. Put pressure on anyway. If there's any comments here, I appreciate the feedback, but I'm just hearing we want to put things in this capital improvement plan and kind of plan it out more long-term planning aspect. But my feedback on that is that we approved the Ready for 100 resolution back in 2019, had a 2030 date in there. It was known that you had to get, or wanted to get, pledged to get to 100% renewable by 2030. Putting that in the capital improvement plan could have been done years ago. Now we're doing it in, you know, it's not going to just be this step of the rooftop solar, that's 20%. Now you need to figure out another 80% on top of that, and you're down to 5 years, really 4 years to get that done. Well, that's my feedback. Any questions on that?
I guess it seems like it would be good to get on the agenda for early next year, just to at least have a placeholder date, because I'm afraid it might slip away then.
Yeah, we can try to do that. It's interesting. I don't recall having too much difficulty getting on a workshop agenda previously, but I feel like we've been filling up. But anyway, yeah, good reco. We can get on there. I'm not sure for us, with reorg and everything happening, if January would be, the bus is going to be early January, so we can think about that.
Oh, I'm sorry you weren't able to present it.
All right. Any other questions? So here's Frank's notes on the walking and biking paths. I think we're kind of also in a holding pattern, waiting for the traffic engineer. Is there any update on that?
Yeah, I did speak to Matt today. He has not heard back from him, but he asked them to give them a proposal on, you know, costs and what it would look like. But he hasn't gotten anything back from the traffic engineer yet.
So somebody pinging them, or, I mean,
What's that?
somebody pinging them,
He,
reach out?
he sent him an email, while I was in his office today, he sent him an email, just, asking to.
What's the cost to put a lane down Jolly?
Yeah, I forget what they call it, but it's like it's not a bike lane, it's a shared, what you guys
Share
had? What's it called?
Shara?
Sharo,
Well,
yeah.
I think it was gonna be a combination of bike lanes where space allows, and then sharrows to deal with the right-of-way there.
Yeah, I guess Matt asked for a proposal, for costs, and then also like what it would look like and how it would, if it's a
Transition.
combination of both, but he hasn't gotten that back yet.
I don't have anything else on this. Anyone? I know Frank was looking for that feedback on.
Yeah, I saw it, I saw his email, so I didn't want to answer it until I had an answer, but that was basically nothing yet.
How do we go about working with Pico?
Yeah, that's a good idea, the converting this
If they're gonna
temporary.
be messing with stuff in there, it might be easier to. It says we should try to coordinate with them because they're going to do some work in the right of ways.
They're gonna have some kind of temporary road going in there.
Are they getting any kind of permits through the township?
I don't know.
Because it seems like during that process would be the time.
I don't know, I don't know the answer to that.
Maybe you can ask.
Yeah.
I know they came and made a presentation and let you know it was coming,
Yes.
but they may come back with some more definitive plans, and I would guess they would need some kind of permits.
Like you put in the permit, you need to have a bike lane when you leave.
That, perhaps there could be at least some discussion about whatever roadways or travel ways they're putting in might turn into future trails, or there should be some discussion about it.
Yeah.
Lay the groundwork. And certainly, gosh, if their roadways could later become trails, that's great. But I don't know if the township would be willing to make that requirement. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, the only thing we ever really talked about was that section between Township Line and Germantown was the only real, section that we talked about. I mean, it goes all the way down,
That's the one where you
Actually-
really need it on the other side of
Well,
Germany.
actually, we did talk about it on the other side. And the other side has, I want to say, 3 leases on it. So we cannot go through those leases. That's what we were told. That's the section from Germantown to Hollowell. There are 3 separate parcels that have leases with Pico. So we backed away from that. We did talk about the section from Germantown to Township Line. But, it continues all the way down to the major,
Yeah.
the plant down there. So I'll ask whether or not they'll have to get permits.
Because there at least could be some level of interchange that the township could make it known. This is a real priority for our community to create some safe walking and biking off-road, fully protected movement. And this is the best opportunity we have. So we'd like you to keep this in mind for where you place your road, with the thought that it may become an active transportation infrastructure,
Yep.
I think they'd be willing to have some discussion about it, and they ought to know our desires.
Yeah.
Do you recall the timing? You have no idea.
I wasn't in on that meeting. I missed that meeting. It was the Public Works Director, Matt, and then Suzanne Bryan, their Pico rep. I thought they mentioned they were going to start somewhere, but I don't remember where they were going to start. I don't think it was, I guess they're going to start down on Gravers Road and go out that way, I would assume, but I can't remember where they said they were going to start.
I mean, for structures of that size, I would imagine there would be some kind of approval process at the municipal level.
So I know, and I don't know if this is what they're doing, but down, they could be putting in, the high tension structures, but down on Conshohocken Road, I mean, there's a giant machine with a huge auger on it. I mean, half the size of this room that's digging a hole. I don't know if that could be a foundation for one of them or not, but, yeah, I think we're gonna see, you'll know when there, it's gonna be, big time equipment.
Anything else on this? Thanks. Switch modes a little. Small, and it's hard for me to work on. But is that big enough for you? So trying to plan out what we'll do next month in a community engagement event, I assume. We're still interested in trying to do something like we did last year? See, some has, no, Andrew must be.
I think so.
Thank you. So, when we've talked about in the past couple of months, well, I guess let's go around with who to invite or how to do that. I know last year targeted a little bit of the scouts, but then I challenged everybody to bring a guest or two. And we did just get some random people I think saw us on the social media and so forth. But I think a lot was through scouts, either parents or scouts themselves. Did we see doing that just kind of the same way, or any other new ideas on how to reach out or who specific maybe to reach out to?
I mean, this will be right after the day after the data center thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we.
Is it kind of late to organize one for November? Is it kind of late to organize one for November? It's November, it's the week after next.
November 17th or
Yeah,
18th?
yeah. So it's about a month.
Right. It's our next regular scheduled meeting, so it's about a month away. Yeah.
Is the purpose, is it to just kind of open up the board's workings, invite the community to participate, or to hear what they want us to do, or like what's the main purpose?
And last year, I think we really wanted to get that feedback on, here's our ideas on what we've been talking about, focusing on. What are these is of most interest to the public. So, yeah, that's I was trying to certainly get that out of it. We did that SWOT analysis to understand, what we feel the township in general is doing good and where we could use to have some improvements. I think that worked out fairly well. But
So maybe we would have our priority areas of emphasis and then invite people to give their ideas and feedback in those areas? Perhaps?
yeah,
It's kind of what it was. Right.
What's that?
That's kind of what we did.
Yeah, I had the charts up. For whatever reason, I did a PDF, so what we did, went through a presentation and then did the activity. So we just went through, introduced ourselves, just had some ice breaking with the participants to see what they knew about what we were doing and some other interests that they had. So just kind of polling the room a little bit. Like you said, what our role is, all the different citizen boards, then different activities that since the board has started that they worked on, and then more focused on the more recent activity, and then the current. And then we went into that SWOT analysis and broke up into groups, and I think we did that for a good 20 minutes or so. And kind of came back together and just talked about. I think so. These were the ideas, right? These were things that we had talked about. I don't feel like we really made it through this chart so much. We did talk about the ideas that the board has done before, but the new ideas, I guess, aspect of it was more just part of the conversation that we had. So yeah, that's the charts that we had put together. I think I have a version where I did capture some of. I was taking notes from the SWOT analysis as we were working together. So I think I have a chart or two on that I can find. But and that's what we did last year. I mean, I thought it was a good event. How much it changed or influenced our workings for this year, I don't know. We haven't kind of maintained any higher level of involvement through holding this, but still, I thought it was a good exchange.
Do you want to have it in here this year? Could we have it in here with the, last year we had it in the other room because of the TV.
Right, yeah, no, I think we've worked out the logistics, right? Just like how we were able to come to the September council workshop and I ran Zoom on my computer, was able to use these screens, and then just whatever Len was able to do with that dialed-in speakerphone, and then we could hear them through the speakers. That actually worked out really well, so I think that'll work fine. So I think we can be in here, get some more room.
I guess the trick is, like, how would we let people know about this? Like, how would people be informed about this? Because it's, how often are the newsletters? Not that,
Quarterly, I think.
so I think we
Newsletters passed, that's not an
missed
option
that,
anymore, right?
yeah. So how would we inform people about this opportunity?
Well, so like I said, I mean, last year what we did were personal invites.
Okay.
Lena specifically went out to the scouts, and she's a troop mother. I don't know if she's involved, but I mean, so she really had that invite, personal invite, and then I had some people that had been put on email or asked to be put on emails, and we don't use them too much at the township day. So I had some emails there. I wrote to some people directly, and then we put it on our Facebook page.
Did you get some people coming from the Facebook post? Did some people?
I don't know how many people.
There were a couple people that were on the Zoom call.
Yeah. I don't recall a total count, but I mean 20 some people.
I mean, if we end up making a statement or like making speaking at the data center meeting on the 17th, we could invite folks, say like, you know, this is how we, you know, how we feel about the data center, blah blah blah. If you want to speak more about this issue, or other environmental issues in the township. We're meeting tomorrow. We invite you to come out and share what you're thinking. I don't know. Because there's probably a lot of people. Unless
It
it's
might
all
draw a
around
lot of
work.
people. Although the 1 day notice
Yeah.
could be a problem.
Yeah.
That's why I'm thinking that November is, like, one thing you could put a notice in this quarterly newsletter, and you could do that, or either or. But I think if you did that, I think that's good, actually.
I think we
But
missed-
1 day
we missed
would,
the newsletter. We missed the newsletter.
for
Well, I
the
guess-
fall or whatever, so the
Yeah.
next one would be the spring. But at that thing, you would probably get a lot of interest, actually.
Yeah. They might all want to talk about one issue, but
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Sure.
if that's the most important thing. What
Yeah.
what about the solar thing? I mean, I think
there's got
that's
to be. I mean, I just
not
from
really. There's probably people interested in that as well.
yeah, just from the discourse like I see on people talking on Facebook about the data center, like the people in Cunnytown have a lot of environmental concerns, so that I'm sure they're
Yeah.
interested in other things too.
Well, and it sounds like they were already engaged about the Blue Route and all
Yeah.
that.
So there, yeah. there's a
Last year they were
sidewalk-
talking about, yes, the sidewalks.
sidewalk
being an
issue
issue.
there.
I was saying, the Blue Route went in back in the, was that the 80s?
What was it?
The Blue Route.
Oh, the Blue Route.
That's been,
Yeah.
that neighborhood was divided way back then. But they did talk about sidewalks recently.
Did they want the township to put sidewalks in their neighborhood?
Sidewalks and slowing down traffic calming too.
Okay.
There's like multiple accidents there every year as cars kind of go under the bridge and around that curve on was that Conshohocken Road?
Yeah.
They always end up on people's lawns.
Bet you if you let the data center happen, they'd be happy to put some sidewalks in.
The guy. But if you like announced it at that, or you could even hand out like a flyer or something, so you wouldn't rely on people catching the announcement, because whoever, you could have like a flyer that's handed out at the meeting, and maybe have this a little bit later.
Have it later than November.
And then the next day, and you would have. You'd probably want to do it like a month later or 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, I mean, we did try to line it up with one of our regular meetings last year specifically. So I was kind of assuming we were doing the same thing. But
When's the meeting in December?
People
Kinda
might
like
also be
Christmas.
fired up, like after the
They might want to come the next day.
data center. Yeah, want to come and vent.
We had something to talk about.
Yeah.
December 16th would be the following meeting. I mean, I'd
I mean,
prefer to
it-
end the year on a little calmer note than that, but no.
I bet you would get a lot of people coming the next day.
I think it would be a
It's
good
just-
I
opportunity.
wonder what's going to, it could depend on what's going to happen, I mean, do
Yeah.
they approve it on the 17th, or do they not approve it, or do they?
Like what kind of urgency there is to it. Like it might be like, oh, we got to do something about this now if we want to have any impact.
Well, there's so many, I mean, I guess I just don't know if we're prepared to have enough information to like guide a discussion about it, but there's so many different aspects from the knowledge, the actual workings of this energy, how it all works.
Yeah.
But then also the existing land use, the vision for the proposed land use from the 2040 comp plan. There's just so many different aspects to it that there is a lot to talk about. I just don't know if we have enough knowledge to guide the discussion.
Well, it's also kind of, do we have to have a discussion with the 3,000 union members there? Or could we have a separate discussion where,
True. So the following evening,
Yeah.
have a separate discussion.
like,
What are the
just ask
biggest
people what they
concerns?
think, yeah.
Yeah.
Because if the one with the 3,000 union members, you're probably not going to hear a lot of.
I don't think, they're not gonna
They're
show,
not gonna be,
that
they're
guy's
not
just
gonna be
bluffing,
300
he's just
union
really,
members.
it sounds
There
like.
might be 30, but.
I'm sure there'll be
Oh,
some,
probably
they
good,
come
yeah.
for a lot of the project. But
Yeah, I think, I mean, the data center affects so many things like air quality, water issues, noise, pollution.
Yeah.
So they're maybe attracting people that are interested in all these different,
And
things.
thinking about the climate change, the floodplain and the land use and,
energy.
And Plymouth in general.
I mean, it's also potential benefit to the township, right? There's benefits to it.
I'm sure there's a huge
To the-
amount of revenue for the, tax revenue, I'm
I
sure.
hope so.
For the data center?
Yeah.
that's probably the only benefit.
So is there any groups that anyone knows of that they want to reach out to? I mean, would it make sense to invite the Plymouth residents that participate in Colonial Canopy, or?
Yeah.
that, or-
Yeah, that's a good idea. I could send it on our newsletter, include it there. We maybe could ask to put it in an email on the one of the community centers emails or something. I could invite the Back to Earth compost crew and maybe ask if they have they want to send it out in their newsletter too, Plymouth residents.
Are we allowed to post like flyers on the bulletin of the community center?
Like, at the front desk? Yeah, we've done that. We did the tree, if you guys get it to me, or, yeah, we've done that before, yeah.
Um, Good, I think, ideas on who to invite or how to reach out to them. So, I mean, we went through the charts from last year. I don't know if we want to walk through all the background on the group, do that education on the AB, and on the different citizen boards. I guess I want to keep some of that. Here's what the AB is doing or has done. But we could certainly shorten that if we have other ideas on what we'd like to approach. I think when we've talked about it recently, we've talked about it being a little more focused on here is really what we're working on. So we could actually each still have a chart or something on here's the activities that have been done in the last year or two. I don't know what do you guys think on how it's organized, how it's run?
I do like the background information in the beginning, just how we were founded, or what issues we focused on and what we've accomplished over the years, especially the last year with the single-use plastics thing and all the other stuff we've done.
Yeah, we could talk about the tree event too. Obviously, sounds very successful.
And then the SEM, getting the shared use energy manager on board, because since that was a goal, so there are a couple successes.
We have a list of what we've done this year too, right? Even if we haven't, or even if it's, huh?
We can put something together.
Even if they haven't been moved through anywhere, it's still good to have a list of what we're trying to do.
How do you, so last year we did the SWOT analysis. How do you think we can interact more? I mean, I like the idea, or what we did last year with breaking it into groups and then coming back. I thought that, as a bigger group, I thought that was kind of helpful to have that broken up into different groups. I mean, if we have more people, maybe it'll be more challenging, but at the same time, that'll give a little chance for more people to talk. How do you guys think that would work?
I guess if we do get a whole bunch of people that are coming the evening after the zoning hearing board, they might get a little frustrated being broken up into groups and let's talk about what the EAB can do. They might want to just talk about that topic, you
Like the
know,
whole time.
and just have a round table about it. They might get a little mad and frustrated. I don't
Well,
know.
I mean, that's our question. I mean, do we want it to be a data center discussion, or do we want it to be, I mean, we control the agenda. If they get mad, I don't know. I think just make it clear in our announcement what our state kind of quickly, here's the agenda for the meeting, so they have a little better idea that it's not a data center meeting.
I mean, if you have the meeting and it's us and 20 people that want to talk about the data center,
Yeah.
then
Just adjust.
Yeah,
you could adjust. So you could kind of play it by ear. But if it's, you know,
Yeah, I was thinking about being organic with it too, depending on the crowd. It might, and if we get nobody from the events,
then you
from-
have,
yeah,
you
then
talk about the tree giveaway and the plastic bags and the. In either case, you could spend some time going down the list of projects, and
do we know?
it's
If,
not like half the time or whatever.
do we know if Lena's going to get the scouts again?
I don't know.
Okay.
That had, my recollection, that was a large fraction of the people.
Yes, it was.
Like, almost all of them.
It could be these new ones, just the new ones.
Yeah.
There is more. These are new.
All we did was hang them and brought electric to them. I can't vouch for the IT part.
Any, I mean, specific, I don't know, questions or things we want to ask them?
Well, I guess,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I was just thinking about, you know, you have on the agenda for our meetings these different topics. And so we could move through those and give a little overview of what we're doing and then invite thoughts or suggestions on some of these sort of ongoing things, and then ask if there's other ideas outside of those areas that people think we ought to focus on or have a interest in or something. I don't know.
Piggybacking on that, I was like similar idea. Having a list of topics of interest. What are the people who come? What are they most interested in?
Yeah.
So you're saying like that's what we would spend the time, I guess, the
Yeah.
meeting talking about?
Yeah, sometime on that, and then on the same vein, what are we missing? What are we not capturing that's in your interest that the EAB can provide or try to advocate for?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, this data center coming up, because it, you know, like, it's not covered in the 2040 comp plan. I mean, who would have known that this is an issue, right? And who would have known that little old Plymouth is being faced with this new, you know, there's this onslaught around the world and across the country, and here we are in the crosshairs of this project with huge environmental consequences, it could be worthy to just talk about it. I don't know.
This
Have
is
an
not
open discussion.
This is not something that I think anyone would have expected 3 years ago, or would have heard of.
1 year ago.
No.
You know,
And I didn't know that it was coming to Plymouth until I got the emails from you guys.
It was a month ago or a month ago.
Yeah.
There was a sign down the street from you. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Person has the sign out on their lawn. It's-
Yeah, they need to cross out the date and put up the new date, but yeah,
What does it say? Something like,
I was gonna take a picture.
they get
of
the
it.
money, we get
They
the...
profit, I've seen them. I've seen them down in
Yeah.
County Town.
Yeah.
Aren't most of these data centers for these like garbage AI features that no one's asking for on like every software and website, you know? Like, I feel like the AI stuff is just being shoved everywhere, and it's taking up so much resources and fueling these data centers developments everywhere, and it's like no one asked to, you know, generate these random videos of whatever.
Yourself scanning down Mount Everest.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of a philosophical question.
Like
I think
all
we're
the
beyond that.
all the progress we've made, and that's not much, but like all the renewable energy progress we've made in the last decade or two is just being thwarted by this AI stuff that's just like taking over. I can't even Google search without like having AI anymore.
Mhm.
No.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to have such a hot topic to perhaps handle it, but it also could really create some engagement. I think it's worthy to go through, like you said, the background, and then here's what we're working on, you know, and then maybe see what the group is most interested in, and if everybody wants to talk about the data center, then
talk
we
about
just
that.
have a open discussion about it. But if people would rather divide up, like you said, and Andrew, into small groups that are perhaps topic focused.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking, yeah.
Like, do you want to do the active transportation, biking and walking, or do you want to do open space and meadows, or do you want to do the energy stuff, or?
And then you'd see how many people just came for the data center talk.
And then if they all
Two
want,
people over here in Meadows, and yeah.
and if everyone wants to talk about that, then just.
But no, actually, I think that might be the best way to go. I mean, last year we broke up by groups. I mean, I think it was just kind of done these people over here on this side of the room, and then we were doing the same activity.
We're doing a
just in smaller groups, but I think by topic.
Was it by topic?
Yeah.
No.
Plymouth, but
Last
the
year
strength of-
was not by topic.
Yeah, it was the strength of Plymouth, the EAB, right? The SWOT of EAB itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the EB. I mean, it was what
Oh,
the
right.
township is
Yeah.
doing good or bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what you like, what you
Township,
like
yes.
about what the township's doing, what you dislike.
Yeah, no, I think dividing by topic might be, like you're saying, I mean, in terms of being flexible and everything, and then those data center people can have their own forum to talk, I guess. I mean, I like that idea, and then we could come back and try to have an ask for each group to say, how can we, what did your team talk about, and how can the AB, how can the community move forward? What can we do?
Is that acceptable? Is that acceptable to like invite people to our meeting at a meeting like the data center? Is it like
At the zoning hearing board?
yeah? Is that
Is that
I don't think you're having any trouble. I mean, I think it's going to be jam-packed. Oh, you mean invite people to your meeting?
yeah, like is that?
Probably it wouldn't be appropriate to get up to the microphone
Yeah.
and announce it there, because they're only gonna want you to speak about the topic at hand. But a little, like, quarter sheet flyer could be passed around.
What's here, I mean, could you temporarily tape something on the wall, or?
I wouldn't ask permission.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know if we could take
Put your
it.
name in.
We as a board, like,
Place out in the lobby.
come up with a statement
Put something out
to
there.
make at this meeting, and then at the very end, like at the very end, we say, like, we're having a open community
Seems
meeting.
fine. Yeah.
Is that something we want to do, like prepare as a board a statement that could be read at this meeting, or are we just kind of going as individuals asking questions that are on our mind or offering insight
It
from our...
does, it seems more powerful to be a collective board.
Yeah.
Maybe just stating what our concerns are.
Yeah.
We're concerned about the impact to the floodplain, we're concerned about the use of the water, we're concerned about the particulate matter in the neighborhood, we're concerned about the,
Yeah.
And the lack of details on what they're gonna do.
Yeah,
So that would be my,
the lack of an ordinance addressing this land use.
Is there a presentation by the developer at this thing
that's
first?
I mean, I'm sure there is, but I don't know. I'm sure he has to. I don't know that he's going to get into the particulars about all this. I think they're just asking for that
Exception.
exception.
Yeah.
And then when it gets to a land development, that's when you'll see, I mean, I'm sure there'll be, I mean, it kind of reminds me like the trash to steam plant, like this, it was, everybody was against it, and then they had meetings, and I guess they I mean, it's there, but I gotta believe that, if they do get this exception, then that's their first win, and then I guess they start planning on what they wanna do there, and then that'll be, looked at by the township, by all, the township staff, by the engineers, all that, to see those things like you're talking about, what type of, natural gas generators are they
even
putting
in the most general sense, what do they plan to do there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just following up on what you were saying. Maybe there could be a Google Doc, and it could be something where, the members of the Plymouth EAB have the following concerns and questions, and then we could just add in, like, we could all go into the document and add things.
Before the meeting?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone could read it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Or prepare a summary of everything or something, yeah.
Well, just so that it's going to be hard to collectively work on a statement, but at least if we just said something as simple as, the board has the following concerns and questions, and then we could go in there and kind of make sure we're covering everything, bullet points. Because you're going
Sounds
to
like a good place to start.
you're going to know more about the particulars on the.
Yeah, about some of it. I don't know anything about the rules for zoning and all that, so.
You would have specific questions.
About the equipment and stuff
Yeah.
that they would put there, yeah. So we could, gather those questions and stuff and kind of, mesh it into some type of statement like, okay, here's all these questions, we think they should be addressed before you decide to give them the go-ahead to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It seems reasonable. Seems like a reasonable thing to ask.
Are you comfortable with that?
No, I recommend doing that.
Okay.
And I don't know how this goes, if everybody's given the opportunity to speak, or if they only have so much time. I don't know
It's
how it
usually a
works.
3-minute time period, so we could break it into people. It could be a running thing, you know, where like you take 5, I take 5 bullets, you take 5 bullets.
Okay.
Speaking
Do
of
you
which,
have more time?
on that topic, I will not be available that weekend, that week. So 17th,
Oh.
18th, I won't be there.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
on
Yeah.
vacation.
Not necessarily to eat up time, but more to show
more
that it's a
trust.
collective group.
Okay. Rather than just have like one representative.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then people start not listening if it's the same voice droning on. When you change voices, people kind of perk up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, anything else tonight?
So we'll plan on this for our next meeting.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if you don't, tell me, I don't know if you guys want to do it or not.
Yeah, I do.
You want to do a vote? There's 5 of us. And raise your hand if you want to do it next month.
Do I have a vote if I'm not here?
Yes, you have a vote.
Okay.
You're not. Okay.
All right.
That was 5 votes for everyone in the room. So you'd be-
So for this, I guess I could like scan this and put it on. And like
Sure.
email it or something.
Those
I'm
are
sure
fine.
they're gonna have it. I think the Cunnytown people will have that.
Just for us, though. Does anybody else want to look at it?
If anybody else wants to look at it,
Yeah.
I would bet they're.
I have a scanner. I can scan
Okay.
it and make a
Appreciate it.
PDF or something like that. 16 pages. Okay.
Motion to adjourn?
Her name was Patty?
Second motion.
She might, come on.
There was one